Welcome back to the D.H.E show. This is Matt Adelman, one of the co-hosts for the show, and today's show is our business update for October 2023. Now, the D.H.E show, if you're new, stands for Dads, Husbands, and Entrepreneurs. So obviously, this is the entrepreneur portion of what we do here. We are a company, Switchback Foods. We launched in 2023. This is our October 2023 business update. And the reason we do this is so that you can see firsthand what is it really like to launch a business, a food company in e-com in 2023. The goal of these updates is really it's to hold Oli and I accountable so that we are doing the show, so that we are tracking how we need to be tracking, but really it's to provide a roadmap for you to do what we're doing too, assuming that we're successful, because that is the whole point of this D.H.E show. We are here to empower dads, husbands, and entrepreneurs to be the best that they can be in all of those buckets. So October, I don't know that we have a ton of awesome brand new news. We definitely learned a lot. We have a ton of learnings that we're super excited to share with you. But hopefully November, December, January, and onwards, we have much better numbers to report to you guys, as well as all the learnings we have along the way. The one ask I have for you before you jump into the show, if you find any value in this, if you have an entrepreneur friend or a dad or a husband who needs to hear the message that we're putting out there, please share the show. We cannot grow this without your help. I know this is a very selfish ask, but it is an ask nonetheless. If we provide value, please, please, please do us a favor. Share the show, leave us a review, just help us grow this network and this community that we're trying to build here with the D.H.E show. So without further ado, take it away, guys.
Welcome back to the D.H.E podcast. My name is Oli Hovde with
Matt Adelman.
We are here to do a business update because, well, we're entrepreneurs and dads and husbands, and shit gets crazy, and it gets crazy fast. But before we really get into this update, because I'm going to let Matt really give most of the update today, because most of it is falling in his lap. One thing I want everybody to understand, because we have not really talked about this, is when I left corporate America, I wanted to create a company with my vision, my culture, my you name it. And what it essentially turned into was Oli's ego trip. And it became this thing where like it was if it wasn't my idea, I didn't want to do it. And I was very obstinate. And somewhere along the line, I think in July, Matt's like, hey, I really want to help you. I want to come work with you, and I want to do this stuff. And it became very apparent to me that Matt wanted to handle the marketing. And again, you jump back 6 months, it's like, dude, the coolest thing about owning my own business, I'm going to handle the marketing, the sales, the production. Like I was going to do all of this, which is, if you're listening, it's stupid and it's not feasible. Maybe if you want to be a one-man show and you want to have a company that's going to do $1,000 in sales a year, go for it. But one thing I want listeners and anybody listening to this to understand is, when you start a business, and if you are going to go out there and you're leaving corporate America because you don't like the culture where the only thing that matters is the executive or the manager, whatever, their opinion. You can't have a successful small business if you take that same culture and you think that your opinion is the only opinion that matters and you're the only one that can do something. So back in probably mid-August was when I got really comfortable. I looked at Matt, and Matt was, I think we're working on some marketing stuff, and you asked me a question, I'm like, just go with it. Like, don't even include me. If you need to approve a number or a budget, like, yeah, I need to know, but you have autonomy. And I think that was kind of the moment where we really started to see this pivotal shift in our marketing, our strategy, our ideas. Now, by no means is it pretty. We are in the throes of just kind of an absolute shit show that almost every entrepreneur is going to go through. And I am happy to talk to you about that at some point. But I wanted to say all that because I gave up. I realized if I wanted to be the leader, if I truly believed in what I was building, this is not about Oli. This is not about Matt. This is about continuing to empower our users. This is a user-led company where our users, the people that are buying our smoothies, are really the ones that we're doing this for. So if we're not acting in the interest of our customers to empower you to fundamentally transform your health and nutrition while on the go, then we're just like every other big business out there that only cares about a profit. And so in order to get there, I had to say, Matt, go with it, run it, do it. So when we talk about this business update here in a couple minutes, or in a couple seconds, a big piece of it that you're going to hear is about marketing. And I'm going to shut up because I don't do the marketing. I don't do all of the stuff that we're going to discuss to some extent, right? I do a little bit of it, but this is really Matt's show for the next 10 minutes talking about where are we? How did we get here? Why did we do this? Why did we change? So I wanted you to understand that is what this business update is about. And if you are listening, you're an entrepreneur, drop the fucking ego and realize that people are going to try helping you and they have the best interest in mind. So with that said, Matt, let's talk about marketing and how much of a shit show our last 3 months have been.
I appreciate that sort of that backdrop for it. I one thing piggybacking on that, one is just a cliche quote, but I think it's just so true. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, build a team. Like, sure, you want to make the decisions. You want to go quick on things. You want to have the say in everything. Yeah, do it yourself. Of course, that's how it works. But if you want to build something, you can't. You have to build a team. I do want to ask you, though, since you started bringing that up, I remember we had a few meetings on this, right? We were still sort of filling things out and getting to know each other. And we met through this, right? It's not like we knew each other. We had a mutual connection, but like...
Thanks, Johan.
Yeah. For all you knew, I was some Joe Schmo off the street. And for all I knew, you were just some big talker who talks like most people.
You are accurate.
But once I think we realized that there was something here, I didn't know how to really honestly approach it with you. What is your advice? You're a founder. You're starting this business. You see something like you think it might work with this person. I was nervous. Like my thought was, okay, I'm going to type this up and I'm going to make this. Here's what I want to do and formalize it and send an email and let you think about it and respond. Like how should somebody talk to a founder if they want to join the team and help? What do they do?
What was really funny, man, I don't know if I've got great advice, but what you did was brilliant. You're like, I want to help you. You never threw anything out there. First of all, if you approach a founder of a company that you really like and that you know they're small and you're like, hey, give me 30% of your company because I can do this. Like that guy's going to tell you to go pound sand, right? Because everybody's building something for a reason. But in your case, you're like, hey, I want to work with you. I want to help you. Like we can figure things out as we go. Part of that was a big gamble on your behalf, trusting me to actually respect that and trusting me to take care of you in that regard. What I would say is, if I had any great advice, if you have a friend or someone that you love their company, they're a founder, they're small, they don't have anybody, show them how you can add value, bring that value to them, and let them see that. I know it sounds screwy. They could screw you. They could be like, hey, go F yourself. I'm not going to reward you for this. Thanks for all your, but that's really up to you and up to them to figure out. So in the case, like in my situation, Matt, you came to me and it took me a solid month and a half to realize like, he's not doing this to steal my business. He's doing this because he genuinely believes in what our mission is and what we're trying to accomplish. And I think I'm unique in that regard where I was like, hey, you know what? Let's do this together as opposed to do this alone. It wasn't a very good answer. So I guess at the end of the day, like it's so much of it's going to boil down to what's that person like. And I think if you genuinely see a company like I can help them and I'm willing to give them time, energy, effort before I get a reward, it's really up to you to know to believe if you trust them. I mean, I said this to my wife the last night. We were talking about someone. I'm like, you know what? I've got a pretty good bullshit detector. And I've been right more than I've been wrong when I've said like that person's a fraud. And I think that's something that you need to have is like, is this person actually serious about this or are they just talk? And and then look at who they are. Like, do they live their values? Are they, if they're saying they're doing this, are they actually doing it? When I say this, like if they're saying they're a family man, are they actually a family man? Because that's going to give you pretty good insight into whether or not you can trust that person. Like if you are saying how important family values are, and like I get it, people make stupid decisions, and like, but you're out, sticking a needle in your arm, banging hookers, like, yeah, probably not extreme. The one that we want to trust, right? So I think a big piece, it's your gut feeling, and you could get burned, and you got to realize like it can unfortunately happen. I mean, you've probably seen it with small brands or people where they're like, they're dicks. One funny note before I pass it back to you, man. Forget what company forget who I was talking to. And they just started, it was a consultant and they wanted to help with, I think, marketing. And it's happened a couple times and they're just like, they're giving me all this stuff. And I'm like, whoa. Like, just chill out. And they're like, what? I'm like, don't give me all the secret sauce. I'm like, I know you might be brilliant and you might want to help me. Like, don't give me the secret sauce because that's all you have. Make me pay for it. Make me hire you. And they looked at me like, what the is wrong with you? And I'm like, dude, I get it. But like, that's the other piece. Like, don't just give everything away to someone. Give them enough to tease them and make them want you. And then it's kind of like Matt, right? you gave me enough to be like, I trust you. And then the last month, I'm like, you're like, how's it going? I'm like, I don't know. Go talk to Matt. He runs the show. I sit at my desk and read YouTube.
Which I don't know that this is normal. So if you're out there listening, I don't know that this is how it works anywhere else. We could be the anomaly here. I've heard horror stories, but I think in full transparency, we can cut this out if you don't want to talk about this part. But there's been no monetary anything with any of this. Like, I didn't come in asking for a salary. I haven't asked for money. You haven't offered. That's not the point. The point from my lens has been I'm going to provide value and show that I really want to help here. And you as a founder can decide, do I want to accept that or not? I didn't come in saying, hey, I'll do this, but I want to make this or have that or get this. That wasn't, like, I trusted that that'll come at some point if we figure this thing out. We're not making money. So how can you ask for something until we've proven that this thing works?
But it's really funny because you've heard me talk about this marketing book I've been reading for the last like 4 years because I read like 5 pages a day. The reciprocation theory makes sense. Unless you're just a shitty human, when someone does something for you, you're going to reciprocate. And you're going to realize like, wow, like I trust them. I don't trust them. Okay, I trust them. Let's keep them going. Okay, they're doing really good things. Now let's start to get creative and think about like how can we reward this person for assisting me in this endeavor. So no, it is kind of strange. And I would also say, and I can't remember if we talked about this or not, but in no way, shape, or form did I envision this type of a relationship coming up from a business standpoint. But now that I look at it, I don't know if I'd do it any differently. I think if I were to wave a magic wand, I would do a similar type thing of like, I'm going to go do this. And if you like it, someone's going to step up and tell me like, hey, I can help you. I want to be a part of this. And I almost feel like that's better than just being like, oh, hey, Matt, we went to school together. Oh, you're my business school buddy. You got a 2.9. Yeah, you're really good, but your daddy's connected. GPA? I professionally hack. And I'm like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me because the weird thing that's very difficult to describe to people listening is if I just grab someone where like it's a 50-50 joint venture and one person doesn't pull their weight, it's going to suck. Whereas in this case, you're like, you're doing a boatload of shit and we're going to reward you for it because I said this to my dad, who's my CFO. I'm like, without you the last 2 months, I'm not sure I would have any marketing because it was like, right? So let's jump in and explain that though. Cool. Why I say we wouldn't have any market, why the last 2 months has been pivotal, and how much work you've put into this to make sure that we have ads out there and we're not lighting money on fire like we were before.
All right. So business update, where we're at, month of October 2023. We've made it a goal. Part of the reason we're doing this podcast and just our whole mentality is we're going to be honest about building this thing and show people behind the curtains because I think 2 things. One, it keeps us accountable, which everyone has to have that. And secondly, people need to understand if you want to be in business and doing anything like what we're doing, it takes time. There's a journey, there's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So selfishly, we get to track what we're doing. We get to see progress being made by doing this. You guys get to learn from us. It feels very win-win-win. So when we talked in the last business update, I think we had just severed the relationship with the old vendor. We really didn't have much going on at that point. It was just sort of where we're at in the couple months of existing. Since then, I don't remember if we had switched to Shopify or not, but we're fully up on Shopify. Yay or nay? Has that been a good thing in your mind?
If you are listening and you're thinking about using any other platform as a small startup, don't waste your time. Go to Shopify.
What do you think has been the biggest benefit going to Shopify?
I think there's a couple of things from my perspective. One, we're not constantly fixing something. We don't have to pay for integration. We don't have to pay for like custom crap that is just included in Shopify. And the second piece is the ease of use. I mean, how many times have we tweaked something on our website, tweaked copy, tweaked words, tweaked whatever that was so simple? Someone as dumb as me when it comes to technology, and I like, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not a tech guru. If I can figure out how to do it, that's a pretty big deal.
I think the fact that it plugs into everything to me is key. I'm not an e-com guy. I didn't know a ton of this. I'm a marketing guy. I'm a retail guy. I'm a brick and mortars, right? Target and Super Value and Albertsons, big chains, right? So I didn't realize the difference between Shopify and some of the others until you're in it doing it. But we are fully integrated with everything that we're doing because Shopify was built with that intent to integrate across the board. So that's been really good. We're fully up and running. All our products are there. Everything's flowing. Things are shipping.
I'll throw out one other thing there within integration. If you are listening and you are thinking like, hey, we're going to build a company and it's going to be on Shopify, Webgility, do not forgo it. Use it. They did not pay me to say that. My dad, CFO of a large company formerly, he is our CFO. He is all about integrations and making sure he knows what every aspect of the business is doing. He will tell you Webgility is one of the greatest plugins, one of the greatest things we paid for as a company. So use it. You will be happy with the user experience and how Shopify plugs into QuickBooks, the data transfer, everything. Go get it because your CFO will thank you.
There you go. Now we need to work at a sponsorship. So since then, we got on Shopify. Things are clicking. Things are going pretty well. There's two things that I want you to think about if you're in this boat and you're following along, figuring out how am I going to do this journey. You brought this up when we went to Shopify. We hired an agency that specializes in Shopify and all sorts of other stuff, but we hired them specifically to build out the website, to do the designs, to make sure everything worked, and get us up and running. And I remember after leaving the meeting, you said, we could have done that ourselves.
I didn't realize how easy Shopify was to use.
But don't confuse easy to use and the fact that you can do it by yourself with you should do it by yourself. Because if we were trying to build the Shopify page ourselves, we still would be working on it. Yeah. We're not experts in it. That's not our shtick.
One very interesting thing there that's probably good for a listener is when you say that, there were we probably have like 4 or 5 integrations into our website. And there's probably dozens, if not hundreds of vendors for each one of those integrations. So did we take our partner's word for it? Yes, we did. I mean, they gave us like 2 or 3 options. We chose one. But that's a huge piece is knowing like why should we go with this integration versus this integration. Yeah. By the way, I'm just laughing. The dude that we met that
Dilliar?
No, dude, I love that guy. Dilly, if you're listening, man, I want to give you a hug. No, the guy that was asking about how many emails. I'm like, we only have about 150.
The Australian guy.
Yeah, we only have 150. He's like, well, you should use us. It'll be a lot cheaper. I'm like, no. You're thinking there's a couple of zeros after that. I mean, we literally have 150. And the look on his face was pure terror. I'm like, I just think back that was a great.
What did he say? You don't need anybody. You just keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Exactly. Oh, that was a great day.
So I wanted to preface that conversation of having help where you need it because as I go into the actual numbers here and where we are from a digital standpoint, we had the same discussion. We could have stood up all of Facebook, all of Meta on our own. We could do all of our social media on our own. We could do all the ads on our own. We could do all the email. We could do it all on our own. Totally doable. A lot of people do, right? We could have YouTubed our way through it. We could have figured it out. But we've got a lot of stuff to do already, and so we opted to hire an agency again to help us with this stuff. I know if you don't have a budget, it's not an option. I totally get it. But there is a discussion you need to have as a company as to when you just bring an expert in to stand stuff up and do it and make sure it's done the right way. I saw a quote. Someone put this on LinkedIn this morning. It's a lot easier to set up Meta, as an example, from scratch and make sure it's right than it is to fix a broken one that was broken from the start.
I like that.
So I wanted to preface that. We have an agency. We're really happy with them right now. They're helping us with a lot of the stuff, which means thankfully we do a lot more managing than we do having to do the manual work.
Yeah, I would also say you made a comment there, Matt, about when you hire an agency or when you hire someone to help you. And don't take the decision lightly. I mean, that's a big decision. We spend a lot of money on this stuff. It's also stuff that I wouldn't change, right? We've gotten our teeth kicked in. We've learned some lessons. We're a lot smarter now, and we believe we've got good partners that are acting in our best interest. But just because you have a partner doesn't mean that you get to sit back. And that's where Matt has been kicking ass and holding their feet to the fire. We actually got a great, we can probably talk about this in the next business update, but like our Instagram discussion last night at 9:30.
I was going to talk about that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that because that was shit. I would have just taken their word for it.
Yeah.
So
here's the numbers. Here's the fun part. We turned on Meta advertising October 20th. It is November 3rd, so we're a little over.
13 days?
Yeah, call it a week and a half-ish. We've spent $956 on Meta ads, and if you don't want me to disclose some of the stuff, you can tell me. $956. We have 43,345 impressions. We have generated 400 link clicks. That is a 0.95% click-through rate. So almost 1%. Now, what they're telling me is that what good is anything over 1% click-through rate is pretty good.
we're almost pretty good.
We're almost pretty good. Now, we're also 1 week in. So one of the things to remember, especially when it comes to meta ads in Google and any of the algorithms, it takes time to find the people that actually jive with what you're putting out there. So the first few weeks, it's a lot of discovery. They're just going to throw your stuff in front of lots of people, see who interacts. Those that interact, they're going to serve up more people like that, your stuff, and see if more people interact. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you get to the people you want by finding the people in the first place and then finding more like them. So did I explain that right?
Yeah. And if you're listening, go understand algorithms. I don't understand them. But what I've learned in the last 4 months, our entire lives are dictated by algorithms.
Yeah. You didn't know that. So almost a 1% click-through rate in week one when we are really trying to boil the ocean right now. We have 3 specific audiences that we're going after. So we are somewhat targeted in our approach. But even within those audiences, you're still talking, tens of hundreds of millions of people, probably tens of millions of people. So there's a lot of people we got to find. Content views, we've had 160 people actually interact with our content that we've posted, just like regular posts online. Just, not great, but whatever. The way that we have our ads set up is we have 2 systems. We have one which is like a high-level funnel. We want to just get people into the atmosphere or the ecosystem of Switchback Foods. And so that one is we're getting a little technical, but they call it an add to cart targeting idea. And you're trying to get people to add the products to their cart on Meta Shop. I don't know that matters. Honestly, I've never seen this before, but I trust that this matters. We've had 11 people add to cart, which is not a purchase, but the idea is you get them to interact with you, add the stuff, and then you can come back later, retarget, sell them more things. The interesting thing is we've actually had 2 purchases. So we've spent $1,000 on ads. We've had 2 purchases in 1 week, which sounds horrible, but it's actually pretty damn good considering we are like literally first time talking to some of these people, first time putting our content out there.
Matt, how many ads do we have running?
We have, I believe we have two images, 2 GIFs, whatever you want to call them. And then we have 2 different variations of copy on those.
So we've got 8 in total, but nobody would see all that. You'd see 4 max because of the variations. What did we have before?
We had 2. 2 before, as far as I could tell, but we really didn't. We didn't get the view into the ads themselves with the way it was set up before with the old agency, which is the way they do it, but kind of weird. So I'm not entirely sure how they had all the targeting and everything set up.
Okay. Our ads are sweet, by the way.
I think they're fun. Which, by the way, on the ads part, like people always ask, what do you actually put out there? We went and did a photo shoot at a place called Sona, Soona. Again, not an endorsement, but we were super happy with them. They have places throughout the country, but they happen to have one in Minneapolis, so we could go to their office and sit down for a couple hours, and they took up 300 photos.
Oh, easily.
And we got to pick the 12 that we loved, and then they made, I think it was like 15 gifts for us to pick from, and we picked 3 that we really liked.
They did amazing work. So yes, not an advertisement, but if you are looking for photography and you don't have an enormous budget, Soona is really good. I also thought it was fun because like you're in their studio and there's 20 other photo shoots going on. So you're looking at like next to us is like some boot. It wasn't about boots. It was about like the spikes you wear in the winter in your boots if you're out walking. And I was like, oh man, like it was just cool to see. And then right next to us is like a bedroom, and they're doing like a bed photo shoot.
Yeah.
Like, it's just wild to see all this stuff because I have a whole new appreciation for marketing now that I never had before. I was like, this is annoying. Now I'm like, the amount of work that goes into this.
Yeah, there's a lot. So the ads that we have right now, I mean, they're nothing special necessarily, but it's a really great image of the product. And then it's the product being mixed in a shaker. So you see how it actually is made, and then you see the product just looking good itself. And that's what we're starting with. We're running with those. We've got some cool copy, and we're being a little edgy, but a little mainstream still. But this is our chance to learn and get our stuff in front of people and just see how it resonates. So that's where we stand in week 1. We got, like I said, almost $1,000 in spend, 2 purchases, but 43,000 impressions out of it.
And a unique aspect too is we're also on Amazon. We've been on Amazon for about 45 days, spending very little money on ads. And again, we partner with a firm that does a lot of the work for us, but we are starting to see some pretty cool traction on there. And it's that's been a really fun thing to see. Something that I was not. I mean, before starting a business, I never really thought about how products are listed on Amazon. So interesting.
If it's okay with you, let's look at. Do you want me to go through Amazon real quick?
Oh yeah,
just
absolutely.
High level? So we'll just look at the last 2 weeks as well. Amazon's interesting. I mean, again, we've not really done any of this really. So we're trying Amazon. We're trying Meta, obviously, and we're seeing what works. So in the last 2 weeks, we've had 40 units ordered on Amazon.
40?
40.
That's pretty good.
That is with a little bit of advertising, but there's no. I mean, it's what you see, right? Amazon's here's the product, here's some images and some pictures of it. You get to tell your story a little bit, but would you say more about the reviews on Amazon is what we're learning?
Yeah, if you're looking to sell on Amazon, I would advise if you don't have time, hire a firm, and then B, it's really all about reviews. And it is review, and maybe in the next 6 months we can talk a little bit more extensively about some of the stuff that I don't want to talk about right now from that front. But it'll make a really good learning case study for anybody trying to launch a brand once we can actually have these discussions in open and not risk a lot of other things. So. Not trying to be cryptic. We got some weird situations going on. As my dad said to me, he goes, "Ole, you got an MBA that a lot of people pay $250,000 or $500,000 for at Harvard, and you got it in the last 4 months running your own business." Now we did spend $250,000, so I mean it's like 6 one half and the other dozen the other. The only difference is I didn't have to fly to Boston and listen to a bunch of morons tell me what to do. So no, I mean it's been a while. I mean really, you look back, the last month has been a pivotal, but very. It's been a pivotal month, but it's also been incredible to see the progress that we're making. And every day, it's more traction, more excitement, more positivity. And I mean, at the end of the day, what are we doing here? We're just trying to empower people to fundamentally change their health and nutrition on the go. And this is about the people that are buying our product.
Yeah. I mean, the message is really what we're trying to figure out at the end of the day is how do you break through the noise to get people something that when you get it in front of them, it makes sense. Any person could benefit by having Switchback. Like it's fruits and vegetables. At the end of the day, that's all it is. The thing we're learning is how do you get the message out? that's what marketing is all about. Right now, we are all about D2C. We're all about direct to consumer. We're all about e-commerce. We are figuring out how to get into retail. I don't know. Do you want to talk about packaging at all?
Yeah, I mean, so one of the big things, we're changing our packaging because
Which is insane since you have great packaging that you just did, but
it's why. Did I tell you what the RD this morning told me?
No.
So I showed her the new packaging.
Yeah.
She lit up and she's like, "That is amazing."
Really?
I mean, she went nuts over it. She
Nice.
thought she's like, "That is like I can't. Oh, it's amazing. It's awesome. It's this." Like she gave me like 20 reasons why it's way better than our current packaging. Yeah. So one thing, and we won't bombard you with all this, but if you are starting an e-commerce company and there is a shred of idea, thought that you want to go into retail, don't make the same mistake that I did. And this is nobody's mistake but my mistake. I told my packaging company, the guys designing it, I said, hey, we're an e-commerce company. We're going to keep it e-commerce. It's going to be super simple, super easy. And so if you're watching the video, you'll notice, that's the bottom of our package. You don't see a UPC. So this little guy can't be sold individually, which is kind of a catastrophic mistake if you're trying to get into retail, particularly when you're packing 4.5 cups of vegetables and fruit in there. So we've been, for the last month and a half, working with our designers.
Again, we are paying experts to help with this because we suck at design.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's highly thought out stuff. And this team of 4 people, I mean, they go into stores and they look at retail shelves. They're looking at competitive product sets. They're bringing stuff back. I mean, this is a complex thing that I never gave enough credit for, which I think like when we met, I want to just bastardize retail. I'm like, it's not that tough. I'm like, holy shit, every package tells a story. And if you look at the story, it's really cool. And there's like, I would probably, 90% of packaging is just boring as hell. And 10% you're like, whoa, that's cool. So we've been doing that. So we're changing the size. We're changing some things with it. We're adding imagery. And it's just another process. I mean, it's more money. It's more money we're going to spend. But we are in this thing for the long haul. We are not a one and done, quick burn, quick turn. We believe that we have a product that's going to empower people and fundamentally change health and nutrition for a lot of people. And so we're going to make the investments to do so, to make it a premium brand that's going to resonate with you.
And so when did you get the last round of packaging or the original packaging done?
The original packaging was manufactured in January.
Okay.
And I remember we used a traditional form of printing. So we had to buy plates. And I can't remember, it was like $1,500 a plate or something stupid. And I remember being like, because like you add that up across 3 SKUs and 4 bags, 5 bags, that's a lot of money. I remember going, well, shit, I don't have to worry about that. Like, I'm going to use these fucking plates for the next 5 years. Like, I'm good. Like, amortize this shit, bitch. And then we literally, none of the original plates from Flex Pack to sachets are we ever going to touch again. Yeah. So there's a lot of costs. Make sure your accountant's really good at knowing how to, write those off for you. But yeah, I mean, I was back in January, if you asked me, I would have been like, we're never going to change this. Like, this is golden. Like, everything's perfect.
Which it is. It's really, it's good. It looks great. Like, it is really well done packaging. But my only reason for hammering on this is in less than 12 months, we decided we had to make a change. And instead of sitting there and analyzing and worrying and whatever, it was like, we got to make a change. Just make it. Go.
That's one piece that, Matt, you're really good at, and I think I've been traditionally pretty good at, is making quick changes, quick pivots. That's the beauty of being a startup, is we don't have to run this past 27 layers. Like, I made a joke this morning. Someone was talking to me, like, if you were working for a big food company, they'd be like, oh my gosh, there's a tiger on there. What are the animal rights people going to think? Oh, there's wings. What's the religious right going to think of a fictitious animal that, has symbolism? I'm like, you tongue in cheek, but like, it's so true. Like, that's what goes on at the big brands. And we're like, you know what? We need to change. Let's go. Here's what we want to do.
Yeah.
And so here we are. And so one of the things you're going to notice is probably not until January, February, we're going to roll out 10 packs. We're going to kind of change how we allow you to order. We're going to go to we're going to keep the 7 packs because we believe in the variety pack is a great seller. But then we're going to go like, hey man, you want to buy 20 smoothies, buy 2 10 packs of what you want, whatever.
Yeah. So we're rethinking how we go to market a little bit. But again, we could have sat back and not done anything on the marketing side. We could have waited until all the packaging was done. Like, we've made decisions. We're going to go. We're going to learn. We're going to figure this stuff out. Packaging, we're doing it in a way it'll just flow back in. And then it'll allow us, if we want to, and, after January, February, March, whatever, the typical health and wellness season, we'll evaluate. Do we want to go after retail? Do we want to go after daycares? Do we want to go after food service? Do we want to go after healthcare? Do we want to go after outdoors? Like, there's a lot of channels we can go after. We'll have to, strategically pick which ones we think have the best chance at, given where we are at the time. But now we have options.
That's a great point. So true. Like, you got to be nimble. You got to be willing to pivot. If you're listening to this and you have a food company, a supplement company, a whatever, and you're like, how do I get packaging? Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah. So 0 people are going to do this because we have like 4 listeners. But seriously, if you have questions, I have been through, I've been through a bunch of shit with our packaging, more than I ever could have envisioned, and we can get into that again at some later point. If you are starting a company, like, what kind of packaging should I use? Why would I want to do this? Shoot me a note on LinkedIn. Let's grab a 15-minute phone call. I will share all of the stuff I possibly can to help you make the right decision moving forward.
Awesome. So there's 2 other things I was going to go through. I know we wanted to keep this around a half hour, and we're already well over that. But
oh boy,
we've got Meta up and running. We did turn on Google PPC, pay-per-click, and Google Shop, which we'll see. That's brand new, just turned on. We don't have tons of ambition that's going to be hugely beneficial. We have a limited budget going against that, but it is on. So Amazon, Meta, Google. The next big thing we're working on is UGC, user-generated content. And that was the one that we had the discussion on last night. So just, again, full transparency, how this works, taking people through the journey. The agency that is helping us with Meta and everything else is also helping us find influencers in other accounts that have the followers that we would like to get in front of to help get in front of them. And there's a whole industry about this now, but the short of it is the agency goes and finds people and they get in front of us and say, hey, would you like to work with this person? These are their rates. This is what they'll do for you. This is their engagement. Yes or no? And so we have 3 that we did sign on that we're really excited about. 3 very different ways of going about it. And so I don't want to share right now until that's all ready and done and out there, but we do have 3 really fun people. We had a 4th option yesterday. It came through, and your first question back to the agency was,
this seems incredibly expensive. Is it worth it?
and
they came back, and their email back to me was, and by the way, not throwing the agency under the bus. They're doing their job. They came back with all sorts of data and engagements and blah blah blah. And this is more than normal rate. Like, you got a really good deal on these other ones. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't commit to anything. But I had like a spidey sense. Like, this doesn't, like, there was a lot of data that I didn't understand. So, by the way, like, if you don't understand how to use it, find a guy like Matt that's going to explain this shit to you, because this is really important. I almost made a $1,200 mistake. So you were at bowling, kicking some ass and taking some names.
Not last night. I was at bowling, but I was getting my ass kicked.
And you called me at like 9:30 last night. We're talking about this, and you explained something. What did you explain to me?
So first of all, don't ever, no offense to agencies, but never trust them. No, not that you shouldn't trust them, but don't trust that they're going to do anywhere near the research and the amount of level. They're not going to put the level of care on a brand that you're going to. They just won't. They're not able to. They have many accounts that they have to manage, and they're moving quick. So they sent over an influencer to use, and the numbers looked great. 80,000 followers, high engagement rate, 81% US based, lots of people in our demographic. Like, it looked really good, high level, awesome, great, check. Want to use them.
Which, before Matt goes in, I took that. I was like, oh, cool. Like, hey, if Matt says go, let's go. So I was in. At this point, I was like, I'm totally good. So let that be your first mistake. That was it could have been a massive mistake on my behalf. And why?
So when you get anything from anybody, you got to really dig in. You got to look at it. So when I get influencers to choose from, or even when I get social media posts that they want to post or anything, like, you got to take a look, put your critical thinking hat on and do a little research. So I click on the link of the person and I start looking at the profile and the posts. And I'm like, oh, okay, it looks cool. It's a dad and kids and whatever. And then I start scrolling through his feed because I want to see what he's posted. I want to see the engagement. I want to see what's going on. Every post for the last 2 months has been on Instagram. It says paid promotion, right? You got to click if you're getting paid. You're supposed to anyways. Literally every single post this guy did in the last few months has been a paid promotion. Every post has been with a different brand, and it's just been a bunch of random shit. And I'm like, well, that's weird.
There's no theme.
There's no theme. First of all, I'm not getting anything about this guy's life. He's supposed to be a dad with kids. Like, why is he not talking about being a dad with kids? I'm not getting any sense of who he is. Like, I'm getting nothing but paid post after paid post after paid post of these generic review videos, right? So that was my first, that's a little weird. I don't know that makes sense that we want to just be another brand that this guy promotes, but maybe it's fine, right? He's got 80,000 followers. It could be great. Then you start looking at the actual analytics of the post. So how many likes is he getting? It was somewhere between 1,800 to 2,400 on every single post.
The vast majority of them were actually plus or minus about 5% on every post, which is a statistical anomaly based on what I've seen. And Matt challenged me, he goes, I didn't think much about that. And he's like, look at your LinkedIn posts. You post a lot. What is the range? I'm like, oh shit. Like if you look at impressions, which I would consider kind of to the likes to some, I mean, it can vary 80, 90% depending on the post. Like there's no way every post is going to garner the same amount of likes.
So that was weird. And then you start looking at the actual comments. Every post had between 47 to 54 comments. Again, super weird. There is social media is not that predictable. You do not put stuff out there and get the exact same levels roughly of engagement, comments, and likes. It just doesn't work that way. So that was another red flag. And then when you look at the actual comments themselves, it's like, first of all, these accounts, the names of the accounts make no sense because it's not people. It's just random ass shit. And the comments themselves were absolutely generated out of ChatGPT. Totally vanilla comments, made no sense. They made sense, but it was like, fire, bro. Great post. Video, awesome. Like, it just was random shit.
I'm trying to find, the reason I'm looking at my phone is I'm trying to find one with comments. So this is like.
So that was like red flag number 7. And then when you, again, look at the accounts that are commenting on this
Bro,
person,
this looks amazing.
If you click on the name of that account, click on that one right now. Is another locked account?
That one's not. That one's an influencer posting on another influencer. But what creeps me out is a lot of these with a lot of comments aren't actually, you can't see all the comments. They're all hidden. So like this one has 80 comments. And I don't know what we're talking about here, but so then you go down, like usually the first 5 to 7 comments are legit. Then it's very nice, love it. You are brave. Such an amazing tool.
You are brave. Hearts. Why would anybody put you are brave?
This is literally amazing. Fire, high five, heart. Wow, it's wonderful. Fire, high five, heart. This is more than perfect. Hearty face.
This is more than perfect.
This is very useful. Fire, high five, heart. These are all fake comments. This guy is a fraud.
It's the same comments over and over in every single post. So you click on some of those accounts making those comments, and they're all locked accounts that have between 10 to 14,000 followers. Now, I don't know about you, Oli, but if I've got 10 to 14,000 followers, I'm pretty excited. I'm not a locked account. I'm doing something with it.
I've got 71 followers, and I am fucking jacked to have an open account.
So all of these things added up, and we have a note back to the agency. We'll see what they say. Like, now I could be completely naive, and so what? It is what it is. He still has 80,000 followers. If 10,000 are bots, and it's still 70,000 people in our demographic, maybe it all makes sense. We'll report on this next time, but it was a whole bunch of red flags where I was like, yeah, maybe not somebody we want to partner with.
Sorry, I'm looking at his wife has a account too.
Yeah, I saw it.
And it's the exact same thing. You have 4 or 5 comments per post of likes, and then it's 60 comments of absolute fakeness. what I feel bad for is all the people that actually are like they're paying these people to post when in reality, like these are not there's no way they command $1,200 a post.
Yeah, so that's the thing. We didn't talk about the fee, but they wanted
$1,200 for a story and a reel.
So $1,200 if the husband and the wife, assuming it's a husband and a wife, if they're getting $1,200 a post and they're doing what, 5 a week, it looks like, they're getting $7,000 each, $14,000 a week in sponsorship posts. Like that's significant money.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys could be making hundreds of thousands. Again, it could be fine. It could be totally fine.
The mom posted something, and the first one that the first one I clicked up on comments, it was pretty funny because it looks like a real person. You click on it, and she replied to this comment. This person has 44.7 thousand followers.
44.7?
Yeah, 45,000 followers. They have 3,300 posts. It says dentist with a tooth. It's got some Arabic writing.
There's a lot of Arabic writing in a lot of them.
This is absolute fraud. So if you're like, I wish I could say this person. I kind of feel like these are the type of people that need to be called out because like you're screwing brands over. And if you're a brand out there, do better.
Yeah, don't support this. Unless again, we could be completely naive and overthinking it, and the old geezers in this space. What do we know? But that was our interesting experience. So I think only other thing I want to add real quick, and then we'll jump off. This is a public service announcement to anybody starting a brand, especially if you're older and you've got a little bit of experience. I highly, 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 highly recommend you get on LinkedIn. I know a lot of our advertising is not on that platform, but I do think LinkedIn is a hugely beneficial thing, and I would like Oli to give his thoughts in the last week and what's going on that space with us, because I want to track that in these monthly updates for everyone as well.
Yeah, I actually...
talking to your mic.
I was looking at LinkedIn because you were talking about it. I just want to bring it up. Interestingly enough, and we'll wrap up here shortly, LinkedIn's powerful. I mean, I'm at 10,463 impressions in the last 7 days.
Free
impressions, just posting stuff that is near and dear to my heart and that I think would be impactful for other people.
And I'm at 19,000. So between the two of us, we have almost as many impressions on LinkedIn as we've paid $1,000 for on Meta.
And Matt's posts are way better than mine. However, like this is the one piece I want you to think about. I was posting a bunch of shit. So you hear like garbage in, garbage out. A lot of my posts were garbage out. So I was getting garbage back in. They were okay. They'd resonate with some people. But there wasn't really any logic behind what I was posting. There's no theme, no common sense. Matt amazes me with how much he just digs into stuff. When he wants to learn something, you don't half-ass it. You're like, I'm going to figure this shit out. So he came in. He's like, what's the worst thing you can say to the founder of a company who's ADD? We need to focus. And he's like, we need to focus for an hour. I'm like, an hour is about 55 minutes more than I can focus for.
I think I said you put your phone down and stop looking at things. Yeah, you actually stand at the whiteboard with a marker, because I know you're going to lose attention. Otherwise. You
made me stand at the whiteboard with the marker and would not let me come back to my desk because you knew I would lose my attention span. So we're not going to show you the whiteboard, but over here we have a enormous whiteboard. And on there, he walked me through what are your posts going to, what are you going to do? What if I read your post every day, what is it going to do for my life? And so I said, I'm going to empower you through my 12-step recovery program. And the message is going to be making your future a reality, or make your future, for short, is what I'm telling people. Like, I want you to make your future instead of letting other people control your future. So then we went in, we dug in, like, what are the 7, 8, 9 chapters, if this were a book, that would make sense? We're not going to go into it. So don't just do what I was doing. Use LinkedIn, but use a methodical way of doing it, whether it be Instagram or anything else. Because it is true, like garbage in, garbage out. Someone's posts show up, like there's someone whose posts always show up in my feed. I'm like, these are stupid. Like, they don't pertain to anything. They don't make me want to read it. So I just hid the person because I'm sick of seeing these stupid posts that have nothing to do with what I care about. So incredibly powerful tool. Try it, use it. You won't regret it.
And I do think it's going to help you hone in on what we talk about as Switchback too, right? LinkedIn right now is us to be our brand and like our personal brand and what we're all about, but it's going to help us figure out how to talk, how to speak, what to say, what to do as it relates to building the company, and how do we talk about it on Meta, and how do we talk about it on these other areas as well. So,
and my final comment on that is you're going to hear a podcast coming out here in the not too distant future, but really about just being unabashedly us. Because Matt and I were talking about that. I think we look a lot at other brands, right? Because you can learn from other people. But one of the things I've always told people, and I unfortunately don't always live myself, is you can't be anybody else. You can only be yourself. And no matter how much my wife wants to change me, I love you, honey, or my mom and dad, love you guys, I am going to fucking swear. It's just hardwired into my brain, and it's just part of me. When I get passionate, emotional, like I just start swearing. And that's probably how you know that I genuinely care about the conversation. If I'm sitting there going, oh, yeah, okay, yep, sure, yes, oh, that's really cool. Like, I probably don't care. And so that's the other piece we're going to lean into. We won't go there today, but just own it, be yourself, have fun, and make sure that brand that you're trying to build resonates with the people you're trying to talk to. And that's me. Like if I try and be this reserved, quiet, polished guy, or I try and be like whatever entrepreneur, I'm not going to be me and my message is going to suck. But my message is like own your life, win your life, have fun, and if you can, be sober during that.
Nice. Cool. Well, I hope this helped. I hope this helped clear up a little for where we're at in the month and give you some ideas and comparison on your journey. Look, we say it all the time in every podcast we do and everything that we ever put out there, and we really mean it. If you're struggling, if you're going through this journey, you need help, you want to talk about stuff, how did we do this, how did we do that? We're real people. Reach out. We are on LinkedIn. We are, well, mostly on LinkedIn, but you had breakfast today with somebody from Facebook, right? Or from Instagram.
Yeah.
So like reach out, just reach out with value, ask questions. We're here to help. We're here to empower. We're here to grow this business, but we're here to fundamentally improve people's lives. Like that is the Switchback mission. That's my mission. That's Oli's mission. That's part of why we're here together.
And so we're going to go crush some Chinese food and improve our bellies.
Because we're hungry. Until next time.
Thank you.
Adios.